Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, hope you're having a great week, and welcome to this new video, your daily update, of course, on Bitcoin. And with that, also a little bit of the entire crypto market, of course. I mean, at this point of time, it has changed a little bit, to be fair, since yesterday, but most of the market is still very correlated to Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, what we're going to be talking about in this video is not only relevant for Bitcoin, but obviously we are talking about Bitcoin. We'll talk about the technicals. We have some major news coming out today as well. I'm a little bit out of breath because I just carried something upstairs, but okay. We had some good news yesterday with Nvidia earnings beating the expectations. The price still dumped. That was to be expected. I mean, Nvidia, whether earnings were better than expected or worse than expected, the price always fell in the last year and a half or so. So that's classic. But ultimately, the market reacted quite well. I mean, if you zoom in all the way for Bitcoin right here, what happened is that we had a spike down, but you can see that we instantly jumped back up, and then afterwards, when we tested that spike, we also found strong support. And since then, we've started to move up, which is great. Yesterday, what I said is that, all right, well, the volume is quite low. I want to see some more volume before I call the local bottom. And I want to see a breakout above 112.5, and we have done not both. I mean, I would say like we have broken above 112.5, right? So I have to say that I think it's most likely right now, because yesterday I said if we break above that, you know, even with low volume, I think that's good enough to call this a local bottom. Now we have done that. The volume still is not amazing, right? So I do want you to be a little bit cautious here, especially with the news coming out, right? I mean, today we have GDP data coming out. I think that GDP data today is going to only cause some short-term volatility. I don't think the GDP data standalone will do anything with the price, right? I mean, ultimately, it's very dependent on the inflation rate Friday, right? If the GDP is increasing and the inflation rate is going to decrease, then increasing GDP is great. If the GDP is going to be slowing down, but the inflation is also slowing down, could also be good, right? Because then we can actually get some less restrictive monetary policy, right? So it's really dependent on Friday. So therefore, I think the data we get today is only going to cause some short-term volatility. We have jobless claims as well, by the way. But ultimately, I don't think that's going to change that much. And then technically, it's most important for Bitcoin that we are going to be able to hold this level right here. Like it's fine. It's fine for, according to me, if we spike down a little bit lower. But I think we need to hold this level right here around 112.5. Right. So I think ultimately, regardless of where we spike down into, I mean, I really don't care if we spike down all the way into 110,000. I don't care. But we need to be able to hold some sort of a stability on top of the 90-day rolling VWAP, right? So we can spike down to $110,000, and as long as the 4-hour time frame then still holds and closes above the 90-day rolling VWAP, we're fine. What do I think is most likely? I do think it's most likely right now, since we have gotten, so some decent bottoming price action right here, and since we also have seen some strength at least in getting the prices back up, I do think it's most likely that we have formed a local bottom. It's not impossible to still make lower lows into 108 and 107,000, and that's also something I've spoken about quite extensively, but I do think it's most likely right now that we're going to be able to hold stability. We're going to get some major volatility though within that stability, I think, in the next 2 days, so be prepared for that. But ultimately afterwards, I do expect to move into the main price target for now, which is relatively conservative, but still the 30-day rolling VWAP at 116,000. And those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know for now. So if you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.